हरे श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। Nitya Vishnu Vishnupara Shuttara Shutashmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Vishnu Vishnupara Shuttara Shutashmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Vishnu Vishnupara Shuttara Shutashmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishta Mahabhagavat Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Korya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Balabhatirtha Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa, all the associates of Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, and all the disciples and followers of those associates Ki Jai. Jai Srila Baladev Vijibhushan Prabhu Ki Jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosai Pad Ki Jai, Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai, Nama Jai Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासारि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौड़ मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अविश्व प्रदाति गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। जय श्रील भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर श्री हरिनाम-cintāmaṇi की जय। जय नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। जय श्री हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Okay, we'll do the Mangalacharan and then begin. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Kodiya Gurvan Vaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Bharati Mingilo Daragatan Udritya Jiva Niman Krishna prema sudabdi gahana sukham pradat pravuntam bhaje Vande bhakti vinorang shri gaur shakti swarupakam Bhakti shastragya samrajam Radha-rasa sudha-nidhim Gurudam grantadam Gauradhamadam namadam muda Bhaktidam bhuridam vande bhakti vinodakam sada Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vrishabhanusutanvitavamatanum Yamunatatanagaranandasutam Muralikalagita-vinoraparam Bhajagodrumakananakunjavidum Smara-gaur-gadadhara-kelikalam Bhava-gaur-gadadhara-pakshachara Shrini-gaur-gadadhara Charukatham Bhaja-godruma Kanana-kunjavidum Tavai vasmi Na jivami tvaya vina Iti vigyaya devi tvam Nayamam charanantikam Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay Kshiptascha kamaditarangamadhe Kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna Vrinde namaste charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, dear devotees, Nri Hari Prabhu, Champak Mataji, Bhavatarani Mataji, Madhupala Mataji, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook. I see Indira Mataji and Ganga Mataji. Dandavat Pranams. And also pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like maybe Shachi Devi will be watching soon, and Jayade Prabhu, Krishna Vallabha Didi, Ananda Pradayani Didi, Anuradha Mataji, Madan Gopal Prabhu, Vrinda Didi, and everybody else. Dandavat pranams. Oh, and Haribol Shashikala Mataji. Haribol. All right, so we are now continuing. Yesterday, we completed reading about sādhu-nindā or sādhu-nindā. That means blaspheming sadhus, criticizing devotees. And today, I was thinking that we would go over the 10 offenses in this verse, in these verses in Padma Purāṇa. When we recite the 10 offenses, it's all based on, it's all coming from these 4 verses from Padma Purāṇa. And so I thought we could look at the original verses, see what the original Sanskrit says. I stayed up really, yesterday I wanted to spend some time going through these 10 offenses and trying to understand everything, but I ended up not getting around to it. I actually stayed up pretty late last night just working on the Gaudiya Kirtan app. And I couldn't pull myself away. And so just now, I was going through the chapters in Harināma-cintāmaṇi, just like quickly reading through the chapters and also looking at some commentaries on, like in Hari-bhakti-vilāsa, Śrīla Sanatana Goswami has a commentary on the 10 offenses to the holy name. So I was looking at that, And then there's so much. And I think I kind of overwhelmed my brain a bit by trying to trying to read too much and trying to get too much in such a short amount of time. And so now I'm kind of confused. I don't even really know what to say now. Like there's so many. Yeah. I'm so today's class might be a little bit because my mind is not clear and I have too much information in my mind, and so that I haven't digested. And so today's class might be a little, I don't know what it'll be like. We'll see what happens. But today I want to spend some more time going through everything, going through the chapters in Harināma-cintāmaṇi, and um, yeah, just so that I can understand it a little bit better, and then I'll be able to explain it. And now maybe we can just go through the Sanskrit in the verses and see how much I'm able to actually get. Um, so these are the verses from Padma Purāṇa, 10 offenses to the holy name. Just one second. So this is the translation that we made for the Gaudiya Gita-gucca. Maybe before we begin, we can just recite these 4 verses. Yeah, I think that might be good. Okay, so satam ninda namna paramam-aparādhaṃ vitanute yatha khyātim yatam katamu sahate tad vigarham Shivasya Shri Vishnur Ya iha guna namadi sakalam Dhiya bhinnam pashyet Sakalun harinama hitakara Gurorabhagya Shruti Shastra Nindanam Tathartavado Harinam Nikalpanam Namno baladyasya hi papa buddhir na vidyate tasya yamarhi shuddhihi dharma vrata sorry dharma vrata tyaga hutadi sarva shubha kriya samyam api pramādah ashraddhāne vimukhe pyashrinvati Yaschopadesha Shiva nāmāparādha Shrutvapi nāma-mahatmyam Yapriti rahito dhamma Aham mamadi paramo Namni syopyaparadakrit Jate nāmāparādhepi Pramadena katanchana Sada sankirtayan nama tad eka sharano bhavet. Nāmāparādha-yuktānam nāmānyeva harantyagam avishranta-prayuktāni tānevartha-karāni ca. Okay, so we'll read through just read through the translation one time and then we'll go through each one. Criticizing genuine devotees constitutes the greatest offense against the holy name. For on account of such devotees, the name has attained renown. How then could the name possibly tolerate such disparagement? So that's the first offense. Now 2, in this world, whoever employs his intellect to see all the qualities, names, and so on of Shiva as separate from or independent of Sri Vishnu is certainly an offender against the holy name of Hari. The next offenses are 3, neglecting or disrespecting Sri Guru. 4, criticizing the Vedic scriptures. 5, reducing the holy name or statements about it to mere words of praise. And 6, concocting misleading notions about the holy name. 7, for one who relies on the power of the name as a license to sin, there is no means of purification through rules. 8, to consider the holy name to be equal to all kinds of auspicious acts such as dharma, vrats, renunciation, and sacrifices. This is negligence. And there's an important point about this word negligence, pramāda. This can also be taken as its own separate offense, not part of number 8, but its own thing. We'll go through that. To give instruction about the holy name to one who is faithless, averse, or unwilling to listen is an offense to the auspicious name. Even having heard the glories of the name, that fallen person who is devoid of affection for the name and who gives prominence to conceptions such as I and mine is also an offender to the name. If somehow, out of negligence or error, a sadhak commits an offense to the holy name, then by continuously performing Nam Sankirtan, he should take exclusive shelter of the holy name. For those entangled in offenses to the holy name, it is the name itself that removes their misfortune. When chanted without interruption, that very name indeed bestows all perfection. I just love these last 2 verses. Gives so much hope. All right, so now let's go through the Sanskrit. We'll go through it a little bit more slowly. And as I've said before, this is just my first go at it before I've actually fully understood everything, like before I've understood anything clearly. All right. So, sādhu-nindā. That means the criticism. Ninda means criticism of satam, of genuine devotees. And then, but it's not just criticism of genuine devotees. It's not just saying criticism of genuine devotees is an offense, but it's saying namna. Criticism of devotees is not just it's not an offense to the devotees, it's an offense to the name. Kṛṣṇa, and Krishna's name is non-different from Kṛṣṇa. So the name takes it personally. Whenever a devotee is being criticized, it's the name that takes offense. The name takes it personally as an offense directly at himself. And it's not just any kind of offense. It is the paramāṅ. It is the greatest aparādha. It's the greatest offense. Vitanute means it extends or it produces. So criticism of devotees, vitanute means produces the paramāṅ, greatest offense. And we know the word aparad means that which is devoid of any affection, which moves one away from affection, which is, it pushes us. It's the opposite of what we want to develop. We want to develop affection, and it pushes us, so it makes us so we have no affection, and it pushes us away from Kṛṣṇa and against Kṛṣṇa even. And that's why, yeah. So this is the greatest offense against the devotees? No, against the name itself, himself. And why is that? Yata means because. Kyatim yatam. Yatam means from those whom the name has kyatim, the name has attained renown. The devotees, the name is glorified because the devotees are always glorifying the name. They're always speaking the glories of the name. And so therefore, those on account of whom the name has attained its renown. How? Katang u means how, katang means how, and u means, u adds emphasis. So how indeed, or how possibly can the name sahate, how can the name tolerate? How can it endure? How can the name bear tad vigarham? That tad means that, vigarham, that kind of disparagement or vilification or condemnation. Vigarham. Here he puts disparagement. Because we know that the devotees are the most dear to Kṛṣṇa. They're Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa resides in the heart of his devotees. The devotees are his heart. This is, and so Kṛṣṇa is very sensitive. When it comes to his devotees being criticized, he's not sensitive if he's being criticized. If his devotees are being criticized, he takes it very personally. He takes it so personally that it's actually the paramāda, the supreme, the greatest, most severe, the worst offense to the devotee? No, to Namna, to Kṛṣṇa himself, to his name. So, yes, Hari Haribo?
Yeah, name. Since the Kṛṣṇa and the name are the same, Nami, I was wondering about, like when I read on the text, holy name is not capitalized.
Yeah, that's always been the standard though. Like in BBT, that's the standard, and in GBP, that's the standard. Like we say, holy name. Yeah, but I guess it could be capitalized also.
Yeah.
Then I guess you could capitalize Rup, Gun, and Lila also, right? So then you'd have to write pastimes always with a capital P, and qualities always with a capital Q, right?
But since there is no difference between Kṛṣṇa and the holy name, so
No, and also there's no difference between his pastimes
Guna,
and
pastimes,
qualities.
qualities.
Yeah, and so then those would have to be capitalized as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that would definitely make sense. That standard would definitely make sense. Totally.
Since we're talking about holy name.
Yeah. No, I actually I like that standard, but it's not the BBT standard or the GBP standard. But I do.
Oh,
It
too
makes
bad.
full sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I really do like that standard because then it puts you in the consciousness. So whenever we write pastimes, we should write capital P for pastimes and qualities, and form also should always be capital F, and name capital. And that would actually, I do like that. And then when you read the words pastimes or whatever, then it makes you think like, why is that capitalized? Oh yeah, because it's not different from his pastimes. Yeah.
No, they're not common.
Yes.
Second generation.
Okay, so that is the first offense. Now the second offense. Shivasya Shri Vishnur ya iha gunanamari sakalam dhiya bhinnam pashyat sakalu harinama hitakara. So iha means in this world. Whoever whoever employs his intellect So dhiya, whoever uses his intellect, pashyet means to see, bhinnam, to see difference, separate, that Shiva is bhinnam, separate from Sri Vishnu. Wait, sorry. And actually, it's saying the qualities, the guna, and the name, and adi. Adi means the form and the pastimes. Shakalam, everything. Who sees all the qualities, all the pastimes, the name, form, qualities, and pastimes, basically. Guna nama adi is basically saying name, form, qualities, pastimes, and everything. One who sees that these qualities, names, and so on of Shiva as separate, as bhinam, as separate from Sri Vishnu, that person, kalu, sa means he, kalu is certainly hari nama ahita kara. Ahita means harm or acting against or unfavorable. So that person is acting in an unfavorable way towards Harinam. They are against the holy name. They are an offender of the holy name. A hitakara is somebody who acts in a way that's against the name, that's unfavorable towards the name. So Harinama hitakara. And for me, this hasn't. I mean, maybe I'm not I'm not going deep enough, because really the only way that actually in Madhurya Kadambini there are, I think, like 30 pages or more just explaining this Shiva Tattva and how Shiva, like understanding the position of Vishnu and the position of Shiva, and also of Brahma and so on. It's a very in-depth chapter about it. Gets yeah. And I guess that's the real way to overcome this offense, is to have some understanding of Vishnu's supreme position and who Shiva is in reality, Shiva's position. But I've never, I think for most Western devotees, definitely for myself, I've never had a problem like saying that, you know, I, I think in India, like especially, people see Shiva as being, on the same level as Vishnu. Generally, most Hindus will think, Shiva and Vishnu are on the same level, or they're like equals. And but for us, we've from the very beginning, we've always understood that Shiva is the best devotee of Vishnu. Yatha Vaishnav, what is it? Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, right? That's never been like a problem for us. So I don't think in that way devotees will come, like most, especially Western devotees who don't have any kind of preconceptions, will make this offense in this way. But were you about to say something, Hari Prabhu?
Oh, I was thinking, thanks to Srila Prabhupada, in a way,
Yeah.
so we imbibe pretty much the philosophy of the Sataguna Puranas, which is Srimad
Yes.
Bhagavatam. So, because
Yeah.
I think most South Indians predominantly, whether there is 6 Puranas in the mode of ignorance, 6 in the passion, and 6 in goodness, So I think Prabhupada introduced us to the mode of goodness, and
Yeah.
so I think those
Yeah.
conceptions were clear to us. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and everybody was complete blank slates. Whatever Srila Prabhupada wanted to write in in everybody's minds, they just accepted everything that he said. And there wasn't any preconceived notions of like, you know. But and so this offense doesn't seem so like so relevant to me. Although there's probably go much deeper, because like I'm not 100% clear on Shiva Tattva and all that. So, but there's one thing, Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura also explains this in another way. So, Shivasya can also be an adjective of Sri Vishnu. I think the prominent meaning, the main meaning, is that difference between Shiva and Vishnu. That's the main meaning. But Shivasya also means auspicious. And it's also in the same genitive form as the word Vishnu, like Sanskritically. So actually, grammatically, this could also be an adjective of Sri Vishnu. And that would mean the auspicious Sri Vishnu. And so then it would mean, instead of difference between Shiva and Vishnu, it would mean a difference between auspicious Shivasya, means auspicious Sri Vishnu's name, form, name, and so on, and everything, Sakalam. So that one feels a lot more relevant to me because, I do see a difference between, I don't consider, I know in a theoretical way that, okay, the deity is non-different, the stone deity is non-different from Kṛṣṇa, it's Kṛṣṇa himself, I know in a theoretical way, but I haven't realized that, I don't have deep conviction in that way, and that the name is non-different from itself, and that the pastimes are like this point. And Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura also mentions in Harināma-cintāmaṇi, let me just open it up. I think it was like verse 50 or something. Harināma-cintāmaṇi, which chapter was it? I think it would be anyways, I'll just open up this. I think it's chapter 5. Yes. I think it was verse 50. All right, somewhere around there. Okay, so then Śrīla Haridas Thakur is saying to Mahaprabhu, he's saying that another point is that there is no duality considering Vishnu's name, form, and qualities. Yeah, so one should not think that Vishnu is different from his form. Vishnu is non-dual, complete, transcendental, and infinite. If, due to ignorance, one is troubled by the misconception of duality as regards the Lord's name, form, and qualities, in regards to the Lord's name, form, and qualities, then nāmābhāsa will occur and the attainment of prema will be impossible. By the mercy of a genuine guru, this anartha will be destroyed. By continually engaging in bhajan, Shuddhanam will eventually manifest. So that's another understanding. Yeah. Not understanding that the name and the person who is named, Kṛṣṇa himself, are non-different. And same goes with the form, qualities, pastimes also. All right, so now we move on to gurur avagya. That means neglecting, and it also can mean disrespecting. Avagya means both those things. Shri Guru. And Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura goes very deep into this and explains so much on the topic of Guru Tattva, and also some interesting things like that I'm not used to. Anyhow, I don't want to like open up a whole thing, but anyways, maybe we'll go over it again later. But yeah, some very neat points in this chapter. And then Shruti Shastra Nindanam. That means criticizing. Nindana means criticizing the Shruti Shastra, the Shastras, the Shrutis. And we know Shrutis means that which is heard. And Shrutis are the scriptures that are spoken, that are not, they aren't written by any man. The Smritis means that which is remembered is written by the sages and like that. But the Shrutis are apurusheya. That means that they weren't composed by any man. They were just received. They were just heard. And so that refers to the Vedanta, Srimad Bhagavatam. These were apurusheya. not written by any person. And then smritis were written, yeah. Smritis will be like the different Puranas and things like that, I think. Anyways, anyhow, so, but anyways, disrespect. And in this chapter, Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura, he explains he goes through Dashmula Tattva in this chapter. And I think the point is that also not like having a misunderstanding of what the Shastras are saying. And I don't know, I have to look through the chapter again more carefully. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting that you went through most of the chapter is just going through the Dashmula Tattva. And then the next is Tatarthavado. That means Arthavada. Arthavada means reducing the holy name or statements about the holy name to mere words of praise. Arthavada. So in the scriptures, lots of times it will say, like, if you perform this sacrifice, then you will have bathed in all the holy rivers, and you will have this and this and this, and it will give some like amazing, and it's not that those aren't true, but that's not the primary. That's just like something to entice you to perform whatever thing it's telling you to do. And so then if somebody sees the glories of the holy name that are written, oh, that's just arthavada, that's just mere praise, just trying to get me to do it, but it's not, it's just praise. It's not the reality like that. It's an exaggeration kind of. Yeah, so that's arthavada. And then the next is, so it's just mere words of praise. And then the next is Harinamni Kalpanam, concocting misleading notions about the holy name. So making your own understanding, seeing the name in a more symbolic way, and giving your own ideas about the name, imagining your own understanding. And also something interesting is Śrīla Sanatana Goswami Pad and Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura doesn't take this as number 5 and number 6, but he takes all of this as number 5. So you can actually combine these two and make them one offense. And so that would be making your own ideas about the praises of the name, kind of. I think there are 3 different ways you could understand these together. I think Śrīla Sanatana Goswami explains something like that, although I have to look more closely into that. But yeah, so then that would be, making your own interpretation of the praises of the name, something like that. And when you make these two, when you make 5 and 6 just 5, when you merge these two together and make it one offense, then that makes 9 offenses, and then you make this let's change the numbers. Let's see what it would look like. So 5, and then this would be 6, 7, and then this would be 8, and then then this would be 8. Pramāda would be 8. And then pramāda, if you make pramāda its own offense, rather than being part of 7, then pramāda means inattentiveness when you're chanting. And that's how Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura organizes the Harināma-cintāmaṇi. He makes 5 and 6, he merges them together, makes them 1. And then because there's an extra offense allowed, then he makes 8 pramāda. And Śrīla Sanatana Goswami, he explains this in Hari-bhakti-vilāsa. He says, Śrīla Sanatana Goswami explains in his Digdarshini Tika on Hari-bhakti-vilāsa that another way to understand the word pramāda, which means negligence, in this verse, is anavadhanata, which means inattentiveness. And that it is its own separate offense. If this interpretation is accepted, then offenses 5 and 6, Arthavad and Harinam-nikalpanam, are understood as a single fifth offense. This is exactly how Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura categorized the 10 offenses in Śrī Harināma-cintāmaṇi. And I really like this because for me, this pramāda, inattentiveness, is one of the most prominent things for me. Like I lots of times I'll just go into autopilot and I'll just my mouth will be moving and stuff, but my mind is completely somewhere else. And Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura, my favorite chapter in Harināma-cintāmaṇi is this chapter 12, where he talks about this pramāda, this inattentiveness when we're chanting. And so, yeah. All right. So now we'll come to 6. So I'm going to change 7 to 6. For one who relies on the power, this is now, namno baladyasya hipapa buddhir na vidyate tasya yamar hishuddhihi. For one who relies on the power of the name as a license to sin, there is no means of purification through rules. So someone thinks, wow, the name is so powerful. So I can just do whatever bad thing I want to do right now, and I will become, and then later I'll become a good devotee and I'll chant the name, and the name will remove all my offenses. The name's so powerful anyways, so it's okay if I just slip here and then I'll just chant later and make up for it. So that's actually, then the name will not act in your favor. Then you'll be, actually committing this offense to the name. And then to consider the holy name to be equal, so now we're going to make this number 7. Now, to consider the holy name to be equal to all kinds of auspicious acts, such as dharma, vows, renunciation, and sacrifices. So, dharma, vrata, tyaga, hudadi, sarva, shubha kriya samyam. Samyam means it's all equal to performing my religious duties. It's also equal to samyam. It's also equal to performing different vrats and renunciation, performing sacrifices. And sarva shubha kriya means all auspicious activities. It's another one of those things. So yeah, I think Harinam is great. I chant the name, and I also perform sacrifices, and I also go on pilgrimages, and I also do these vrats, and I chant, and just considering it one among all the different auspicious things that you do. That's an offense. And then now, instead of is negligence, now we're going to make this number 8. And now we're going to change the word negligence to inattentiveness. Okay, so now pramāda is its own thing, inattentiveness. And now the 9th offense. And this is what we'll spend a good amount of time on this, pramāda, inattentiveness. We'll go through the whole chapter. And now 9. Ashraddha-dhāne vimukhe pyashinvati yashchopadesha shiva nāmāparādha. So that means to give upadesh, means instruction about the Shiva nama. Shiva means auspicious, nama, the auspicious name. So to give instructions on the auspicious name, upadesh, on Shiva nam, to 3 types of people. One is those who are ashraddha. That means they are faithless. Ashraddha, no faith, faithless. And those who are vimukha, those who are averse. Or ashrinvati means those who just don't want to hear, those who are unwilling to listen. So if you're giving instructions on the name to these 3 types of people, that is an offense to the holy name. And I don't know, the way I understand this is first we have to inspire some of their sukriti. And I think just like a basic thing, like if you chant the name, you'll be happy. That's one thing. But then if somebody is actually completely averse and faithless and not wanting to hear anything, and then you're getting into the details about the glories of the name, and you know that they're just going to be thinking badly about everything that you're saying about the holy name, then that's also an offense. You're getting them to think in a very offensive way about the holy name, and it's because of you that they're getting them to think like that. So you shouldn't get into the details of the glories of the holy name. People, you can say small little things, but I don't know. That's how I'm understanding it, but I need to go deeper into this also. And then the last offense, even having heard the glories of the name, that fallen person who is devoid of affection for the name. So Shrutva means having heard, Nama Mahatmam, the glories of the holy name. And how much have we heard the glories of the name from Srila Gurudev, from Srila Prabhupada, and from Srila Haridas Thakur himself, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and this and Chaitanya Bhagava, and now in this Harināma-cintāmaṇi. So we've heard so many glories of the holy name, and so many songs by Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura, and yeah, so much. That's like one of the main emphasis that our acharyas give is on the glories of the holy name. And Srimad Bhagavatam, even in Bhagavad Gita, everywhere, it's Namahatma. And so even after having heard all of that, that adhama, that fallen person, yeah, means who still doesn't have any priti, who's completely rahita, devoid of any priti, affection for the name, and who think that aham, mama, adi, so things such as conceptions such as I and mine, this is parama, this is the most prominent thing, this is the supreme, we give more prominence to I and mine. I don't have any time for that. I don't have any affection for the name. I don't have any time for that. I'm more interested in I and mine. So even after you've heard so many glories of the holy name, and you still give prominence to conceptions of I and mine, then that person aparādha commits offense to that, in the name namni. So and I used to like whenever I heard this verse, I would always think like that's kind of intense. Like I definitely have conceptions such as I and mine, but then I think the word parama makes it who gives prominence to conceptions such as I and mine. Who, because I mean it's a much higher stage when you're completely free of any conception of I and mine. But if you're still thinking that I and mine is more important than the name, then that's a little bit more, you know, yeah. Okay, and so now, if somehow out of negligence or error, a sadhak commits an offense to the holy name, then by continuously performing nam sankirtan, sada sankirtana nama, he should eka sharano bhavet. He should take exclusive shelter. Sharan. Eka sharan means exclusive shelter. Tad, of that name. And then, so if you commit offenses to the holy name, what is the way to remove those offenses? You take shelter of the name. It's not the only way that you can get rid of your offenses to the name is by going to the name. Just like if you commit offenses to a Vaishnav, we hear so many times if you commit an offense to a Vaishnav, you have to go back to that Vaishnav and get forgiveness. So with the name, it's the same thing. If you commit an offense to the holy name, then you have to take shelter, exclusive shelter of the name. There's no other way. And there's nothing to be worried of because for those, and then the last verse says, for those entangled in offenses to the holy name, it is the name itself that removes their misfortune, or well, we'll say the name himself, right? The name himself that removes their misfortune. When chanted without interruption, that very name indeed bestows all perfection. Avrishanta means without interruption. And how do we chant without interruption? Mahaprabhu explains in the 3rd verse of Shikshashtakam. The only way to chant without interruption is if you feel yourself more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, and you give honor to everybody and don't expect any honor for yourself. Those 4 things. When you do those 4 things, then you can chant without interruption. Then sada kirtaniya. Kirtaniya sadahari. Then you can always chant the name. And that's really coming to the Madhyam platform. That's when you come to the stage of Nishta, come to the Madhyam platform. That's what the whole song Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya and so many other songs are all praying to come up to the stage of Nishta, when you're actually a Madhyam Vaishnava and you know how to deal with everybody according to their due. And and the only way to actually be humble is when your attention is given to not comparing yourself to everybody around you, but when your attention is given to our Guru Varga and you're seeing our Guru Varga and how exalted they are, and your consciousness is there, then automatically you feel yourself very low and fallen. And then when you're connected with them, then whatever happens to you, it doesn't matter because you're with them. And so it's really all about relationship. And then you start to see everybody for when you have this mood of humility and you're tolerant, you don't get pissed off easily, like, oh, like, how did you do that? Like, then you can start to recognize where, like, you can start to see everybody, the good in everybody, and be able to honor everybody according to their level. And that's coming. And when you've done all that, then you will not commit any more offenses to the holy name. And when you're not committing offenses to the holy name, then Tabito Gaibo Harinama-sukhe. Then I will happily chant the holy name. I'll start to become steady in my chanting, and it won't be so difficult to chant anymore. Why? Because aparadha habe hata. All my offenses will have been will go away. And so this all happens from sadhu sangha, right? If when we're with real sadhus and then we can feel humility. Otherwise, we'll just be comparing ourselves to everybody around us, and that's not the way to become humble. You can't. It's impossible. It's only comes with sadhu sangha. All these things. And so it is now. Oh my God! It's 8:07. I didn't even realize the time. Sorry. So that is our program for today. Yeah, so I'll go over this more carefully. Hopefully today I will give maybe a couple hours to looking through these chapters of Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura, and we can I can do a better job at seeing how does Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura explain each one of these briefly. All right. We'll go through Dandavat Pranams if anybody's leaving now. This is the end of our program. And then for anybody who's staying for the second part of our program, our vrats that we're doing for Chaturmasya, we'll go through, quickly go through the first 4 verses, from, what is it? Bhajana-rahasya. Krishna varnam tvisha krishnam sangopangastra parshadam yagyai sankirtana prayar bhajami kalipavanam jatve koriyan jagati parigrihya prabhuriman hare krishnetyevam ganana vidhina kirtayatabho iti prayam shiksham charanamadupeभ्यः paridishan shachi suno king me nayana saraning yasyati padam. Today I'm not going to explain anything because it's already 8:09, so we'll just recite the verses. Kali jiva udharite paratattva hari Navadvipe aila gora rupa avishkari. Yuga dharma Krishna nam smarana kirtan. Sangopange vitarilo diya premadhan. Jiver sunitya dharma nam sankirtan. Anya sab dharma nam siddhir karan. Okay, and now, oops, gotta keep on going too fast. Now the power of nāmābhāsa. Tam nirvyājam bhajagunanidhe pavana pavananam shraddharajan matiratitaram uttama shlokamaulim prodyan anta karanakuhare hantayan nāmabhānor abhasopi kshapayati maha pataka dvantarashim. Then Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura explains the process, the step-by-step methodology of Shikshashtakam. And then he begins the first verse. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam Vedyavadu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita svadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sankirtana hoite papa samsaranashan chitta shuddhi sarva bhakti sadhan udgam Krishna premurgam premamrita ashvadan Krishna prapti sevamrita samudre majjan. All right, so that's our Bhajana-rahasya part of the program. Hopefully we'll have more time to do it nicely tomorrow. But I'm just rushing through it today because of time. And now, lineofdevotion.com. Today is Thursday. So these are the Thursday Sharanagati songs. Gopturite Varana, embracing the Lord's guardianship. I'll just get the mridanga and then we'll sing these songs. Jani ki bole tomara dhanete hoinu sharanagata tumi dayamoy patita patita pavana patita tarane rata parasayama ei matana tumi to koruna moya atavadaya patra nahi morasam avashavucha vibhoy. Kṛṣṇa তোমার ও দয়াল ঠাকুর Kṛṣṇa তোমার অধম পামারে ত্রাহি সকল ছাড়িয়া আসিয়াছি আমি তোমার চরণে নাত আমি নিত্য দাস তুমি পালাইত তুমি গুপ্ত জগন্নাথ তোমার সকল আমি মাত্র দাস আমার তারিবে তুমি তোমার চরণ করিনু বরণ আমার নাহি তো আমি ও ভক্তি বিনোদ কান্দিয়া শরণ লয়েছে তোমার অপায় ক্ষমি অপরাধ নামে-রুচি দিয়া ও ক্ষমি অপরাধ নামে-রুচি দিয়া পালন করো তাই ও পালন করো তাই This anga of Sharanagati is all about accepting, choosing the Lord's guardianship. I am embracing the Lord's guardianship. The Lord is now, I now accept that the Lord is my only maintainer and protector. But then how do I want to be maintained? How do I want to be protected? He's saying, maintain me in this way. How? By kamya aparad, means by forgiving all my offenses. And nāma-ruci diya, and by giving me taste in the name. This is how I want you to maintain me. Kami aparada nāma-ruci diya. Dara putra nija deha kutumba palane sarvada vyakula ame chinu mane mane kemone arjiva artha Jasha kise pavo Kanya putra vivaha ke mone sampadivo Ebe atma samarpane Chinta nahi ara Tumi nirvahibe prabhu Samsara tomar Tumi to palibe more Nija dasa jane Tomara sevai prabhu Bolo sukamani O tomara Sevai Prabhu Bolo Sukhamani Tomara Ichaya Prabhu Sarva Karja Hoy Jiva Bole Kori Ami Sheto Satya Noy O Jiva Ki Korite Pare Tumi na Korire Asha Matra Jiva Kore Tava Icha Phale Nishchinta Hoiya Ami Sevibo Tomar O Nishchinta Hoiya Ami Sevibo Tomar Grihe Bhalo Manda Hole Nahi Mor Dai Bhakti Vinora Nija Swatantra Tyajiya Tomar Charana Seve Akinchana Hoya Tomara Charana Seve Akinchana Hoya Sarvasva Tomar Charane Sapiya Korechi Tomar Bhare Tumi to Ṭhākura Tomar Kukur Boliya Jano More Bandiya Nikate Amare Palibe Rohibo Tomar Dvare নাচিতে না দিব রাখিব ঘরের পারে তব নিজ জন প্রসাদ সেবিয়া উচ্ছিষ্ট রাখিবে যাহা আমার ভোজন পরমায়ানন্দে প্রতিদিন হবে তাহা বসিয়া শুইয়া তোমার চরণ চিন্তিব সতত আমি নাচিতে নাচিতে নিকটে যাইব ডাকিবে তুমি ও নাচিতে নাচিতে নিকটে যাইব যখন ডাকিবে তুমি নিজের পোষণ কভু না ভাবিব রহিব ভাবের ভরে ভকতি বিনোদ তোমারে পালক বলিয়া বরণ করে বলিয়া বরণ করে তোমার পালক বলিয়া বরণ করে রহিব ভাবের ভরে তুমি সর্বেশ্বরেশ্বর ব্রজেন্দ্র কুমার তোমার ইচ্ছায় বিশ্বে সৃজন সংহার তব ইচ্ছা মত প্রমা করে না সৃজন তব ইচ্ছা মত বিষ্ণু করে না পালন তব ইচ্ছা মতে শিব করে না সংহার তব ইচ্ছা মতে মায়া সৃজে কারাগার তব ইচ্ছা মতে জীবে জনম মরণ সমৃদ্ধি নিপাত দুঃখ সুখ সংঘটন ইচ্ছে মায়া পদ জীব আশপাশে ফিরে তব ইচ্ছা বিনা কিছু করিতে না পারে ও তুমি তো রক্ষক আর পালক আমার তুমি তো রক্ষক আর পালক আমার তোমার চরণ বিনা আশা নাই আর নিজ বল চেষ্টা প্রতি ভরসা ছাড়িয়া তোমার ইচ্ছায় আছি নির্ভর করিয়া ভক্তি বিনয়তি দীন কিঞ্চন তোমার ইচ্ছায় তার জীবন মরণ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম রাम राम हरे 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 one thing I'm noticing with this song is like really the antidote to the second offense to the holy name of seeing Shiva as being equal to, or or being independent of Vishnu. This is putting Vishnu, showing how Vishnu is the Sarveshwareshwara. Kṛṣṇa, Rajendra Kumar, is the Sarveshwareshwara. He is the Lord of all lords, and it's by his desire that Brahma creates, that Vishnu maintains the world, that Shiva destroys the world. It's seeing how everything's, this is actually the antidote to this second offense. All right. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Śrī Radha-Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Param Gurudev ki Jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrindadevi ki Jai, Shri Harināma-cintāmaṇi ki Jai. Jai Śrīla Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura ki Jai. Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura's Harināma-cintāmaṇi ki Jai, and all of his writings ki Jai. His Sharanagati Kirtans ki Jai. Jai Shri Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki Jai. Shri Harināma-sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Vo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, dear devotees, Śrī Hari-bhakti-vilāsa, Bhavatarani Mataji, Champak Mataji, Shashikala Didi, and all the devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook, Indira Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Neela Didi, Dashrath Nanda Prabhu, Pramila Didi, and everybody else watching. Dandavat pranams. Also pranams to all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jayare Prabhu, Krishna Balaba Didi, Ananda Pradayani Didi, Anuradha Mataji, Madan Gopal Prabhu, Vrinda Didi, and everybody else. Haribol. And thank you, Bhavatarani Mataji. I mean, it's always like that. Sometimes, I mean, today I wasn't feeling so tired, but I was feeling a bit overwhelmed by like all the things that I was trying to read right before I started. But whenever I've noticed, always with these programs, whatever state I'm in before I start the program, like if I'm really tired or if I'm feeling anxious about something or annoyed or whatever, always by the end, I feel like I always feel so much better. It's like, it's the best kind of therapy. The words of our Guru Varga is the most powerful thing to completely lift our spirits and put us in the right state of mind. And I mean, those are the least, like the smallest effects of it. But yeah, if you're ever in a difficult situation, there's nothing more powerful. All right, Dandavat pranams, everybody. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end the stream for today? Okay, Jai Shri Radhe. See you all tomorrow. Hari Bol.